Good afternoon, Mr. Ed. How are you? How is work? And how is your pandemic safe house? Yeah, so I told you before about my farm, and you said I should give you more information, and I've finally come to terms with myself and what I think um, is best to propose to you. So I'm going to talk you through a few points, agric opportunities. What are the things I'm doing, um, which is fish farming and black soldier fly, and also the company that my agri company, and then what I need and how we can work. So about fish farming, fish is the most one of the most consumed protein source in the country, and we are not producing as much as we consume in Nigeria currently, and the market is quite structured. There are feed companies, foreign feed companies, and also local companies, milling much like formulated feeds. And so whenever there is a spike in cost of feed, um, the whole market goes up in terms of profit margin to farmers. So my own approach to fish farming is to now look at how can I best produce fish at the cheapest production cost possible. So when it comes to fish farming, three things are important, which is pond, water source and pond, feeding, and medical and treating any illness. So there are three forms of ponds, which is the earthen pond. You dig the floor, you pump water inside of it. There's a concrete pond, which you build concrete ponds out of concrete, and reinforced concrete so it doesn't tear. And then there is cage culture. Cage culture is the method that I am using, and which implies using net cages, very strong net cages, which are predator proof nets, and having that suspended on top of the water by frame held by floaters. So the advantages of this is that the fishes will have quality water throughout their life. They would grow faster because of this, and there is less disease because the water itself supports life already. It's not like it is bad quality. It's bad water. This Asadam water source that we have. Yeah, and the other is now feeding too. So for feed, starting now, I'll just buy for imported feeds to start for the first month, maybe skirting for example. After the first 2 months of using imported feeds, then we'll formulate feed from meals to reduce the cost of feeding. So the capacity at hand now is about 5,000 fishes can be grown, and I already have all of the assets for this. So the advantage that we have in fish farming is a very sustainable way of growing the fish, quality water, and would buy feed and use both locally made and imported feed to grow them. So for black soldier fly is an insect that has high protein density. So when we breed insects, we breed them from flies. They will lay eggs. Their eggs will turn into larvae, and the larvae is the feed. So when the larvae grow for 15 12 to 15 days, they are ready to harvest. And the beauty about it is that there is hardly any commodity in agriculture that you have a turnover within 21 days. So the life cycle of the fly is 21 days, and within that 21 days we can produce, harvests, and sell animal protein, or we use that feed, we use our harvest from the black soldier fly to feed um, our fishes. We mail our fishes for our fishes. So if you are able to do this, if you can produce the fish, you can produce the feed, you would be able to have a lot of profit in the whole system. So I would do I'm going to show you on the computer how this cage looks like, and give you much more in-depth information about it.
It's not normal that you try and create a high technology company that's farming millions of insects right in the heart of London. But insects are just nature's perfect upcycling machines that create organic, natural protein that we can feed to animals, eventually maybe humans. What people don't realise is there's a huge disconnect between what we eat and how we feed what we eat. All farm fish that we create are dependent upon wild-caught fish to feed them. We feed fish to chickens. All animals need to eat fats and proteins to grow, just like we do. Now, these proteins come from two sources traditionally, that's fish meal and soya protein. Now, soya protein is one of the biggest causes of deforestation in the rainforest. And fish meal means that we are dredging our oceans empty of small pelagic fish, which are the base of the global food web. There's only so much rainforest we can cut down, there's only so much oceans that we can actually deplete until we get to a really dangerous pinch point. We have the dual forces of a growing population with an increase in demand for protein. There's a moment in your life where you just think enough is enough and you have to do something about it. So I started Entercycle. We're using black soldier flies. Each female lays 1,000 eggs, and in nature, 99.9% of them will be eaten. However, we are able to conserve them and then utilize them into a full closed-looped system. We feed the larvae on food waste, such as brewery grains and coffee waste, and they consume that and convert it into both protein to feed animals and fertilizers to grow more plants out of the same system.
It's recording like this. Beautiful. In like another 10 days, you'll be ready to prepare too. Yeah, thank you, for watching this far. I hope I'm not so boring. So about the company, O2 Organics is a company I started about 2 years ago, and I have an investor in Dubai who is an employee in Intel. There was a time I went to Dubai for an Intel conference through BlueSign, so that was when I met him, and he has done some investments in the business, and I feel like if you are able to get on board, you would strengthen that relationship, and it will be possible to raise much more money, say next year, if I take a trip to Dubai again to continue operating the farm. So there is about 3 of us on the CAC document and all, and I don't know how you might like to be involved. It can be shares, it can be profit share, it can be a form of loan too, and then you, after returning the loan, then you get some set of shares as your input. But the idea is, you doing business with me is not only helping my farm or helping me, it is strengthening a relationship that can create more value in terms of raising more funds to go as big as possible. So I'm sure if after this video, if you want to know more information about those Adib is his name, and Abdul Karim, definitely will give you more information, and I can have a conversation with them. We hop on a call together and talk. So that is it for O2 Organics. It's a company, and we have land. What we have as assets now on the farm is there's land. There's 3 plots of land that we've paid for, and then there's another 3 that we did is some form of just wire fence around that we are looking to buy. So we have 3 now. We can get 3 more, and there is a house which inside now. This is the farm, and there is a house on the farm, and also we are next to Asadam Water source, which is, you know, it's quite big, and it can do as much as possible fish as we might like to. It can take 100 kgs. Yeah. Even since we have started, one other farmer has been here to, you know, check on the cage and decided to buy some cages too, and he bought about 6 cages that he's using in another part of the dam. So that's it. So what do I need? What is possible? The asset we have now, the 5,000 capacity cage right now, to operate, we need about 3 million naira to operate, which is to feed fishes. 2 million naira will go directly into fish feed. The extra million will go into operations and also buying an engine for a boat. I have a boat to use to feed the fishes, and also start the black soldier fly bit of it at a little capacity, just to start breeding and, you know, building a structured waste collection system to, you know, grow that portfolio too. So first is catfish. Most of the asset now is for catfish.